Modern culture glorifies freedom, but misunderstands it. Be whatever you want. Do what feels right. You don't owe anyone anything. And while these slogans sound empowering, they often leave men more confused than ever, because without structure, freedom becomes aimlessness. Without discipline, authenticity becomes impulse. Without principles, being yourself becomes being lost. The Stoics saw this coming centuries ago. To them, the good life wasn't about doing whatever you wanted. It was about becoming someone worth being. And the only way to become that man is to live by a code, a personal set of principles, unshakable, silent, whether you're being watched or not. 1. A man without a code is easily owned. Without a code, you'll borrow one from others. You'll follow trends. You'll bend under pressure. You'll do what pleases people in the moment, then hate yourself later for it. Marcus Aurelius warned, "If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it, and this you have the power to revoke at any moment." A code gives you internal authority. It means you're not ruled by fear, flattery, or the next opinion thrown at you. You become solid in a world of soft imitation. Why this matters? Men who don't lead themselves become followers by default. External validation becomes a drug when you have no internal compass. A personal code prevents moral drift and strengthens mental clarity. How to apply it? Ask, what values do I live by when no one is watching? Write your personal code. Keep it short, clear, and active. I don't lie. I face discomfort. I finish what I start. Review it weekly. Track your failures, not to shame, but to sharpen. Reminder, if you don't define your life, someone else will. 2. Principles outlive pressure. The world will pull you in every direction. One day it will praise aggression, the next, sensitivity. One moment, silence is strength. The next, it's weakness. If you chase society's approval, you'll live in constant exhaustion. Seneca said, "No man is more unhappy than he who never faces adversity, for he is not permitted to prove himself." Your code is the pressure valve. It lets you face criticism, confusion, and contradiction without losing yourself. When the world changes, you stay centered, because your code isn't built on trends, it's built on truth. Why this matters? Unprincipled men crumble under social pressure or rejection. A code turns discomfort into fuel instead of fear. It allows you to act with conviction, even when misunderstood. How to apply it? Practice saying no when it conflicts with your values, even in small daily moments. Use mental rehearsal. If I'm pressured to compromise, I will hold to my line. Audit your recent decisions. Were they code-based or comfort-based? Reminder, your strength isn't proven by popularity, it's revealed under pressure. 3. A silent mission gives you purpose no one can take. In a culture obsessed with attention, everything becomes a performance. Even virtue is broadcasted. Kindness becomes a social media stunt. Hard work gets paraded. But a man with a silent mission doesn't need applause. He builds in the dark. He sharpens in solitude. Epictetus said, "Don't explain your philosophy, embody it." Your code is your quiet contract with yourself. No announcement, no audience, just a sacred agreement between you and your own soul. Why this matters? Purpose built on attention dies when the spotlight fades. The silent mission builds character, not just appearance. Solitary discipline fosters deep self-respect. How to apply it? Choose 1 to 2 virtues to embody this week, whether or not anyone notices. When tempted to justify or brag, remind yourself, this is for me. Embrace the work no one sees. That's where the real man is built. Reminder, the man you become in silence is the one who shows up under pressure. 4. Your code is your weapon in chaos. When life breaks loose, when betrayal hits, the business fails, the relationship ends, most men panic. They question everything, doubt themselves, beg for answers. But the Stoic knows this is exactly when your code matters most. When emotions are loud, your principles must be louder. Marcus Aurelius reflected daily, waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be one. When chaos comes, you don't need a new philosophy. You need to remember the one you already forged. Why this matters? Crisis exposes what you really believe. Your code is your map through storms, especially internal ones. Men with principles are resilient. Men without them collapse. How to apply it? In times of stress, return to your code. What kind of man do I want to be right now? Use short mantras from your code during high pressure. I don't quit. I don't blame. I act. Journal post-conflict. Did I live my code today? Where did I veer off? Reminder. A man with a code doesn't panic, he navigates. 5. Living by a code makes you dangerous in the right way. A man who doesn't flinch under pressure, who won't betray his word for approval, who doesn't need permission to act with honor, that man becomes dangerous. Not violent, but unshakably competent. Seneca noted, "A gem cannot be polished without friction, nor a man perfected without trials." Your code makes you durable. When you know your standards, you're immune to manipulation. You become the kind of man people instinctively trust or fear, not because of dominance, but because of clarity. Why this matters? Unshakable men are rare and incredibly valuable. A man who owns himself cannot be bought, swayed, or broken. Your code creates consistency, and consistency builds trust and strength. How to apply it? Carry yourself as if your code is written across your face. In every decision, ask, does this build the man I promised myself I'd become? Study other great men, not to copy them, but to extract timeless principles and forge your own. Reminder, you don't need to prove your power, just live your code, and others will feel it. 6. Without a code, life feels meaningless. Many men today don't suffer from laziness or lack of intelligence. They suffer from emptiness. They wake up, go to work, follow the script, but feel a quiet ache beneath it all, a sense that something's missing, something important, that something is meaning. And it doesn't come from pleasure, praise, or even success. It comes from integrity. The Stoics taught that fulfillment doesn't come from outcome, but from alignment. Are your actions aligned with your values? Are you becoming who you said you'd become? If not, nothing you build will feel right. Marcus Aurelius said, "Just that you do the right thing, the rest doesn't matter." The man with a code doesn't need the world to clap for him. He finds peace in knowing, not hoping, that he lived well today. Why this matters? A directionless life becomes a numb life. Code-based living reconnects you to your deeper self. Meaning is the natural byproduct of alignment, not external success. How to apply it? Each night ask, did I live according to my values today? Define what a good day looks like, not by outcome, but by character. If you feel lost, simplify, return to one value and live it fully for 24 hours. Reminder, the man who lives by a code never wakes up wondering why he exists. 7. A code makes you a beacon to other men. The world is starving for leadership, not the loud kind, not the posturing kind, the quiet kind, men whose presence calms the room because their values are non-negotiable. You don't need to lecture. You don't need to convert anyone. You just have to be the man you promised yourself you'd be, and others will notice. Epictetus said, don't explain your philosophy, embody it. When your life is steady, when you move with conviction, when you choose character over convenience, you silently give other men permission to do the same. Why this matters? Most men are silently looking for someone to model. You lead more through action than advice. A man of principle makes other men remember theirs. How to apply it? Think of yourself as a lighthouse, steady, visible, unshaken. When tempted to compromise, ask, who am I teaching by how I live? Don't wait to be asked. Lead in the shadows and let your integrity speak. Reminder, be the man you needed to see when you were younger. 8. Your code doesn't change with your circumstances. Too many men change when the wind shifts. They're disciplined when it's easy, loyal when it benefits them, honest when it's convenient. But a Stoic code is unchanging, especially when tested. Seneca said, it is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it. A man without a fixed code wastes his time chasing approval. A man with a code spends his time becoming, especially when no one's looking. Your integrity must survive hardship. Your principles must outlive mood swings, heartbreak, business failures, public criticism, and private doubt. Why this matters? Your environment should never outrank your identity. Crisis doesn't change your code, it reveals it. Men who are consistent through chaos are trusted without question. How to apply it? Write a list. 5 things I never compromise on, no matter what. When things go wrong, review your code, not your emotions. Trust that every time you uphold your values under pressure, you reinforce your self-respect. Reminder, a man is only as strong as the values he refuses to abandon. 9. Living by a code protects you from regret. Every man has made decisions he regrets, not because they failed, but because they went against his own soul. He cheated when he knew he shouldn't. He stayed silent when he should have spoken. He walked away when he should have stood tall. These wounds hurt more than any external failure, but they teach us one thing clearly: the path to peace is living clean. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, the soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. A code is your shield from future shame. It won't make your life perfect, but it will make your decisions right. And right decisions compound into a life that holds no hidden guilt. Why this matters? Regret is the cost of ignoring your code. Peace isn't perfection, it's integrity. A clean conscience outperforms a decorated resume. How to apply it? When facing a difficult choice, ask, will I respect this decision a year from now? Track what kinds of decisions cause you the most internal tension and clarify your code in those areas. Don't aim for pride, aim for peace. And reminder, live so that your future self thanks you, not curses you. 10. Your code is the foundation of true freedom. Men are told that freedom is doing whatever they want, but that kind of freedom leads to addiction, distraction, and despair. True freedom, the kind the Stoics taught, is the power to command yourself, to choose wisely, to resist temptation, to live without chains. Epictetus said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." Your code isn't a prison, it's a path, a narrow one, a steep one. But it leads to something real. Not just success, but sovereignty over your mind, your choices, your direction in life. That's the kind of man who walks into a room and doesn't need to impress anyone, because he already walks in truth. Why this matters? Undisciplined freedom leads to slavery, to impulse. Discipline rooted in principle leads to real freedom of mind and life. Your code is the map, you are the compass. How to apply it? Replace the phrase, "I can do whatever I want" with, "I do what I believe in." Track your habits. Are they freeing you or enslaving you? Choose your restrictions like a warrior chooses his weapons, intentionally and for victory. Reminder, your code doesn't confine you, it sets you free. Final reflection, the code is the man. In a world full of noise, trend chasing, and masks, the man who lives by a personal code becomes something rare, something dangerous, something powerful. Because he isn't guessing, he isn't drifting, he isn't trying to fit in or get by. He knows who he is, he knows what he stands for, and he doesn't need the world's permission to live with honor. This is the Stoic path, not to perform your virtues but to embody them, to walk your mission silently, to choose character over comfort, to build something eternal inside you, even when no one is watching. Not for applause, not for image, but because the man you become when no one is watching is the man who shows up when everything's on the line. Write your code, live it in darkness, and walk the world with quiet fire.